When I started out in the government, in the locality where I lived, I was known as the guy who could talk to somebody to get you a passport. Okay. It was very difficult to get a passport. Okay. Many of these changes were done when I was Foreign Secretary. My minister was Sushma Swaraj. There are two problems really. One is habit and one is vested interest. That people, if you're doing the same thing again and again, and I come and ask you to do it differently, your instinct is to persist. Now, if you have an interest or somebody else has an interest in your doing it the old way, it's going to harden your attitude. So one of the challenges we have found in terms of transformation in India, and in a way I could say in public delivery, interestingly, the Foreign Ministry itself has been one of the pioneers of this effort. When I started out in the government, in the locality where I lived, I was known as the guy who could talk to somebody to get you a passport. Okay, because it was very difficult to get a passport. Okay, so and in fact, I was talking to someone. This happens to be my contemporaries. You would have people didn't even give it in through the formal process, because you would have touts or intermediaries who made it a business. Now, from making it so hard, and when you travel out, others wouldn't believe it, that sometimes it would take you months, if not years, and sometimes you never got a passport. Now, if you look today at how something like that has changed so dramatically, that today people get it within days, there are a variety of reasons for it. One is that you ask them for documentation, which is digital, they provide it. You don't have to physically do many of the checks which you had to. You actually cut out the intermediaries who are making a good living in the process. But, it looks so easy. I must tell you, it was very hard to do actually on the ground. Many of these changes were done when I was Foreign Secretary. My minister was Sushma Swaraj. And, we would keep meeting and we'd keep taking feedback from different passport officers about the speed at which they give. We look, my office, I think every week, we get from every passport office saying, okay, give me the number of cases pending, how many days do you take? Because we know that if you do not make this into a habit, because at the end of the day, if the person applying for the passport and the person giving the passport finally get into the habit that you're supposed to do it without other considerations, it will happen. But it isn't easy. Now, at every stage, when I spoke about giving housing or allowing people health entitlements or even giving food, how much of the food in the ration shops actually never reached the person for whom it was intended? Now, the moment you make it digital, the moment you have the ability to check, you actually have developed a kind of infrastructure. It still doesn't happen automatically. You still have to change and this is where, to me, one of the good things I see, I like this aspirational India because it holds people to account. People will not put up with things which they would have put up with 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And that's a good thing in our country.